Nail in the Coffin, The Fall and Rise of Vampiro is a must-see documentary about the wrestler Vampiro and the person Ian Hodgkinson. It's a fascinating and heartfelt look at a pro wrestling star of the 90s and how he overcame drug addiction and sexual abuse and continues to battle physical injuries as a semi-retired Lucha Libre legend. Hey, he starred in CMLL in Mexico, War in Japan, WCW in the States, WWC in Puerto Rico, All Japan, TNA Wrestling, AAA in Mexico, Wrestling Society X on MTV, Juggalo Championship Wrestling, ICP, and Lucha Underground. He's wrestled, done commentary, and worked behind the scenes. Thank you, Vampiro and documentary director Michael Paszt. Vampiro, Ian, how does a kid from Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada become a Lucha Libre legend, a Lucha Libre star?
Well, first of all, thank you for the great intro. I've heard you do it a few times, and you fucking hit it every single time, brother. So good for you.
Yeah.
And I need to know, and don't get mad. If you get mad at me, then I know where you are. Has anybody ever said that you look like Terry Bradshaw before?
Not Terry Bradshaw. I get Chris Elliott, the comedian from, used to be on Letterman. I didn't get Terry Bradshaw that much, really. And then Spin Doctors, the lead vocalist from Spin Doctors. I get that too. Those are the two I get. Bradshaw, that's a first, though. I'll take that as a compliment. He's doing well, had a great career, and is doing his TV stuff. Good stuff.
Just makes me see things different. I don't know, dude. I was in the right place at the right time. I just, I grew up strange. I had a different belief. I knew I was going to do something in life. I remember when I saw the Rolling Stones doing Around and Around on the from the 1960s, and it was when I saw the reaction of the crowd. I think I was like 8 or 9 when I saw that, and I said I knew that I was going to do exactly that. The way Mick Jagger had the people in his hands at that time, and the way the place was going crazy, I knew that was my calling, and I just never gave up that dream. Being poor, living on the street, all that bullshit. And I was in Mexico at the right time, and the right place at the right time, and God blessed me. And culturally, they needed a rebel, and I was rebellious, and it just kind of worked out that way.
You mentioned the Stones. Have you gone to a lot of Stones concerts?
Yeah, a few, maybe 12. I've seen them about 12 times. Yeah.
Man, they're still going strong today. That's amazing.
It is because, but it just shows, man, when you're accountable to your originality and you stay authentic. I mean, that's the real deal. And people can say what they want. They're making money. They're charging this. Yeah, of course they are. But when you play in a band for 60 years, give me a break, dude.
Hey, Michael, how did you get involved in this project?
Well, I mean, I've known Ian for years. I lived in Mexico. I was writing for a Lucha Libre magazine called Super Luchas in the early 2000s, and met Ian, and it was because he was Canadian. I was always like, who's this guy? I wanted to meet this legend, right? He was like from Canada. It was in Mexico, so I met him, and we got to know each other, and then we lost contact, and we caught up. 16 or so years later, I bumped into him into the airport, and he's telling me, I said, what are you up to? And he's like, well, right now I'm commuting from Thunder Bay, Ontario, and I'm flying to Mexico every weekend, and then I'm going to LA and working the shows, and then I'm back on, Sunday night. And I was like, wow, it was crazy for me. Like I complained about commuting on the subway, and here he is commuting, from country to country, and then back. And he said, why are you doing this? Why are you punishing yourself on a weekly basis? He says, because it's my daughter. I'm a single dad, and I'm raising her, so I have to be home to take her to school on Monday. And I was just like, oh my God, there's a story here, and nobody knows about that. Everybody knows about the other side of Ian, the Lucha Libre and AAA and WCW, but nobody knows the other side. And I found that really a fascinating thing. So we started talking, and one thing led to another, and we started shooting, and here we are.
Well, Ian, because of your daughter, is that a reason why you ended up not moving to Mexico?
Well, we had left Mexico. It was a weird situation because she had stopped living with her mom. And I was in a really bad place with my mental health, and the work was tight in Mexico, and I was struggling a lot because I was trying to understand what was going on with me mentally and physically and still work. And I just couldn't sustain the pressure. So I told my daughter, it might be easier to live in a smaller town where there's less outside influences and I can work on getting better and I can see what to do for a living. And she agreed. And right then and there, I got the job in Lucha Underground with the El Rey Network. So we had made plans. She started high school. She was 13, 14. And I had to deal with that. I had to deal with, like, I always saw my daughter on the weekends and things like that. But now I was a full-time dad. I was dealing with mental health issues, physical issues. And then I had this job as a TV producer. And then after that, I got the job in Mexico again as producing their show. So I was going through a lot of stuff. It was a tough time, but it was something that I felt extremely comfortable doing because it's all I know how to do.
Ian, how did she... Oh, go ahead, Michael.
I was just going to say the one thing to add to that too was, I think at the time, Dasha was dealing with a lot of bullying in Mexico at the time with the school and all that. And from what I remember is that it was part of a decision that to get her over there. And I think that both of them together went on this journey in the documentary.
I mean, my kid was going through some mental health things too. Obviously, she's fighting with her mom. She's becoming a teenager. Her mom remarried. There's another baby involved. So my daughter was going through her own drama and then bullying at school, bad bullying. And we just decided, to save our ship, we had to go to new lands, right? That's kind of how it went.
Hey, Ian, how has Dasha helped you?
Well, she's my biggest motivational tool in everything. She's made me grow up. She's helped me get through the process of transitioning into a new life. She's helped me let go of Vampiro and become an adult and raise this young woman. She puts me in my place when I fuck things up. She allows me into her life. We have a great communication, and even if as a father, I want to choke the shit out of her sometimes, and some of the boys that she introduces me to, I want to fucking throw them out of a window. But then again, I was 19 years old too, so I'm sure when girls brought me home, they were like, "What the fuck is that?" And it was different. I was scoping the house to see what I could rob, not worrying about the daughter. That was different. I don't know. She's my best friend. She's the one. It's because of her I don't quit. So what else am I supposed to say? God blessed me. God saved my life. God gave me an opportunity to take care of one of his treasures, and that's why I'm still here.
Michael, have you ever worked on a doc about a pro wrestler before?
No, not to this extent.
Even if he did, it would suck, dude. You're talking.
Exactly.
You're fucking talking. What's the matter with you?
I want to see if he has experience in that field or what his background a little bit.
Go ahead, Mike. Put this in place.
No, here's my thing is that as I grew, I was in wrestling. I've been following wrestling since I was like 5 years old. And when I lived in Mexico, I was a reporter for Super Luchas magazine, and so I met everybody. I've met everybody in the wrestling world, especially in Mexico. And I was always drawn to Ian's story, and I've interviewed a lot of people. And again, it was like his story is so unique, so fascinating, and I think it was important to tell that story.
And Mike,
dude, you gonna fucking interview Fabian or Elvis? What's the matter with you?
Who's Fabian?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, Michael, also, what is it like fans in Canada and fans in Mexico? And Ian, you could add to this too. Just what is it like? Is the differences, any of the subtleties that go on? And just because Canada is so huge for wrestling, and so is Mexico for that matter.
I mean, I guess the most important difference is, fans they're, in my opinion, fans are like they're united, whether it's U.S., Canada, or Mexico. But I think the biggest difference is that in Mexico, it's part of the culture. It's like hockey. In hockey, we grew up with hockey sticks. When we were born, you put a hockey stick in your hand, right? In Mexico, when they're born, the kids get, lucha mask, right? It's part of the culture there. So the passion it's just so much more intense. It's just a way of life. And I think that's a big difference between here, where you're just fans and and all that.
I think I agree with Michael in the hockey comparison. That's as a Canadian, it's like a national insult, right? If you speak bad about Canadian hockey. Yeah. In Mexico, the only tweak I want to put in there is when Michael says it's cultural. I mean, Mexico City alone has 32 million people. So there's lower income areas that didn't have a lot of opportunity for entertainment. And I'm going back to the 1930s. And pro wrestling or Lucha Libre was something that would come to the smaller areas of town, and they would just set up a ring in a bingo hall or in a street or in a church parking lot. So the people could actually touch their heroes. So when that becomes an intergenerational thing, the great-grandfather, grandfather, father, son, and you have wrestlers from the 1930s who's passed the mask on, like Santo and Blue Demon and Rayo de Jalisco, famous names, it's embedded in your family's love for sports. So it's such a household name. It's just like peanut butter and jelly or apple pie and ice cream, right? And that's the difference. And plus, because there's so much corruption in Mexico, in everything, when there's a good guy who fights for the underdog, the people really, really need that outlet. So that's what drives the fans to be a little bit more passionate in Mexico, the way they look at why they're watching a wrestling match. Does that make sense?
It does. It's a little more reality. It's a little bit, it hits their heart and their soul a little more, that they know it's not just, to them, it's not just a show. Hey, this is somebody, this is the good guy, this is the taking care of the rudo, getting rid of the rudos and things like that. So yeah, it does make sense. You mentioned ice hockey, and obviously Canada, that is the sport, ice hockey. So Ian, you played some ice hockey, and at least from what I read, you did rather well. Was it hard giving up the skates, or no?
I was dedicated to it. I was into it. I thought that was my life's plan. But I started outgrowing it. There was a lot of things going on in my family life, my personal life, a lot of trauma. Trauma started really early. And I needed to scream. And I found alternative music, and that was easier to do with what I was going through. And I just kind of gravitated towards that more than stuck with hockey. So, and it wasn't really hard. It was a surprise to my family more than anything.
Michael, what? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, this is a guy that was like, was going to, I would say, turn pro. Like he's going to play in NHL, and he gave that up, and that's huge in Canada. I was like, when I found out, where he was, and that's a big decision, especially in Canada when you hockey's such a big thing here, and he gave that up, and then on top of that, then he goes to LA and then meets Milli Vanilli, right? So, which is a whole other thing. You probably can get into that in a minute. Yeah.
There's so many layers to Ian. There's so many layers to your life that it's like a roller coaster ride with just so many bumps and smooth roads and good journeys and struggles. And then mention like in St. Clompassi, Milli Vanilli. It's just, yeah, man. What an interesting life. I'm wondering too.
Well, fuck, try being me. Try answering all the voices every day.
Holy crap. Man, oh man. That's something though. People deal with things like that, and that's part of the life and all. At least you have the voices and you're dealing with it. How about all those people that do and they don't realize it or they don't do anything about it? That's the ones we really have to worry about, I think. But Michael, I was going to ask you, what areas, you mentioned some of them already, but what areas stood out most to you about doing this documentary on Ian?
I think for me, it was always about the relationship with his daughter. I think that was, for me, was the key part of it. The things that I like, my favorite is probably the time when at the restaurant, when they're at the restaurant and they're having lunch together. For me, that was a big moment. That was a very big moment for me, because Ian wouldn't come. He wouldn't come out that day, and I couldn't figure out why he didn't want to come out. And I kept on saying, we got to film this lunch, and finally got him out, and I didn't. And then I saw him walking, and when he came, and he was like, he'd been hiding this all along, this injury. And when he got there, I was devastated. I was like, "Oh my God," you know. And then he sat down with Dasha, and they were having their lunch. And Dasha wanted to ask questions, and I just said, "You know, this is your moment to ask him anything you want." And you know, and she did. And we tucked away in the corner, and we let them. It was like 2 hours we were filming, and they just completely forgot about us, and they were talking. And so it was a really genuine, honest moment where she could ask him those questions. And he couldn't get away because obviously he was pretty sore with his legs and all that. And so she put him on the spot. And for me, it was a special moment.
Ian, do you find that this documentary is helping you deal with things? Was it a struggle when you were putting this all together and reliving some of the stories and doing things like that? Was it a help? Was it a hindrance? Was it both?
It was frightening for me at first, but where I am now and what I'm doing now and where I am at my life, that guy in the movie doesn't exist anymore. I've surpassed that. I've gotten better. I'm dealing with the mental health stuff. I've been in therapy for a year for my injuries. I'm doing amazing. I've lost 130 pounds. Mentally, I'm on point. I'm more present in the moment. I'm retaining more information. So the PTSD, I'm doing really well with it. The Parkinson's thing, I got under control. I'm not shaking like a leaf every 2 seconds. And the Alzheimer's thing, I'm destroying that. Fuck Alzheimer's. You know what I mean? I got that under control. Alzheimer's could eat a bowl of dicks. The movie is such a phenomenal opportunity to help so many people. Not for me, you know, I live it, so I don't want to be egotistical and say it's helping me. There's two things, like the artistic community, like what Michael did. He took a dream, he swung for the fences, and he hit it out of the park. So if you're a young filmmaker or somebody developing an idea and somebody doesn't believe in it, who gives a shit? If you believe in it, you go for it, right? So that's one thing you can get out of the movie. The other thing is, if anybody ever says to you that mental health is a stigmatism, that you can't advance in life, you can't hold a corporate job, you can't, whatever it is, fuck those people. And I'm hoping that you can see in this movie, when you see how bad and close to death I was, and then in the question and answers, you got this guy who's alive and is moving. You can beat anything if you believe in it and you follow the laws of the universe and you just do what's right. So I don't think it's for me. I think there's so much more to do for other people. You know what I mean? And Michael captured that. Michael hit that one out of the park. I'm just part of the team, you know?
It's therapeutic. Everyone's helping everyone, whether it's yourself, whether it's Michael, your daughter, and people in general, when they see this and see the story and see what evolves.
You saw it, right?
I have not seen it yet. I still have to see it. I still have to get a link or whatever to see it and all. So I'm really looking forward to watching it and seeing the journey and the story.
I liked you in the beginning of things. Now that you say you haven't seen it, man, dude, I don't know.
Hey, at least I'm being honest with you. I could have said, "Oh yeah, I saw it. Sure, I did. Yeah, it was great." Being honest.
But that's okay. If you do see it, I'm extremely interested in your opinion.
Yes.
I trust. The reason I trust you, I like you, because you're joking with us and you get it. I can see that you're not one of these the typical interview that I'm used to doing, just repeating things that I don't even remember from 25 years ago. I thank you for that. But I'm curious to see what your opinion is. I know, you did an amazing interview, but I guess my movie's not important enough for you to watch right now. So hopefully one day you can get around to it.
Well, I need to get the link for it, and then I'll definitely watch it. So I will do that. And you'll get it. I knew I'd answer. I don't care. I'm still going to answer honestly. I'll take the heat. I'll take all the crap. That's okay. But I will watch it.
Just fucking with you, dude.
Hey, Michael.
It's a life-changing movie, and it's probably one of the greatest things ever. But you don't worry about it.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this right now. No, I am going to. Obviously, I want to see it because I'm going to be writing about it. So I'm going to see it. But I want to tell everybody this too. The film will be releasing in theaters on Friday, September 4th, and it'll also be available on major VOD digital platforms beginning Tuesday, September 8th, Nail in the Coffin, The Fall and Rise of Vampiro. So we got that going. We got a couple more questions and we'll get you guys out of here. Michael, how long did it take to put this whole documentary together?
Probably be about 3 years, I would say. That's kind of I guess the average documentary. I mean, it's like not like your typical feature where you have 3 weeks of shooting and this and that. We didn't have a beginning, middle, or end or anything like that. We were on a journey. So we spent about 2 to 3 years of filming, following Ian on his journey. It was really cool. He's just like, guys, just point and shoot and follow me. And then the story just naturally, organically evolved.
And Ian, who are some of the folks, and Michael too, who are some of the folks that you all talked to in putting this documentary together that we're going to see as well, whether it be other wrestlers, friends, people in general, anybody in the community?
I didn't talk to anybody.
I mean, we interviewed a few wrestlers, but I think the whole thing is that El Rey Network, we helped us out a lot. They were great. It was great in Mexico with AAA. They opened the doors to us and they let us in and film everything. So all of that was awesome. So everybody was really helpful in allowing us getting all access. So that part was great. Yeah.
And Ian, for you, when did you realize during your journey that you were a rock star and you were living the rock star life? When did that come to realization? And then when did you realize that, hey man, there's a problem here. I don't know. I need some help.
It's the same answer for both of them, dude. The day I was born, man, I fucking knew I was born a rock star. And then I got smacked, and I knew I was in a fucked up world, so I needed help right from the get-go.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. That is just amazing. All right, guys, so I want to just let you each just whatever you want to say about the documentary, anything else you want to add about it. And I'll give Michael the first here, and then Ian, you can close us in with that.
I think I just wanted to say basically that when you're making a documentary, you're going on a journey, and I'm just so thankful that Ian gave us that opportunity to film him. He basically said, I don't want to see the final cut. I don't want to be involved with the editing. Just you do your thing. And so he gave us that, there was that trust, which I'm very thankful for, because he didn't meddle in it and just let us do our thing, so we could show the warts, in all the dark side and the good side, all that sort of stuff. And I was really really grateful for that. And ultimately, when you go on this journey, it was a journey of not only for Ian, but it was a journey for myself as a filmmaker. Just going on this and learning every step of the way. And it was also a journey for Dasha as well, putting herself out there. At the end of the doc, it's not. It doesn't have a dark ending like Mickey Rourke and the Wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite. It is dark and it has its moments, but at the end of the day, it's a movie about family. We have the lockdown that's going on and all this coronavirus and all this, but at the end of the day, where do we all turn to, right? We turn to our families, and this is what this movie's about. It's about a father and a daughter, and I think we all can relate to that. And it doesn't matter what job we have. We all have to support, our kids and do the best we can and sacrifice and do whatever we can for them. So I think that's the most important message that I want to say for that.
And I want Ian to close, but I want to ask this because you mentioned something that very interesting to me, the movie The Wrestler. Ian, what were your thoughts of that movie? Did you see that movie?
I know about it. I went to the festival in Mexico. They invited a bunch of us. And I walked out about halfway through it. I couldn't watch it. It was heartbreaking to me. I was watching my life on the screen, and it was killing me. And I couldn't go through that. I was really suffering, so I left. Yeah.
All right, so close us out. Close us out with your documentary and just anything else you want to tell people out there, or just you gave some good advice, some good thoughts on this. Just anything else you want to close with on the documentary. Nail in the Coffin, The Fall and Rise of Vampiro.
So, you know, of course, I'm very grateful to Michael and Raven Banner and everybody else involved in the film, and Epic and everybody pushing it, people like yourself interviewing me. To still be alive at the stage in the game and have this opportunity is mind-blowing to me, right? So I just hope people watch the movie, but I want you to watch it for different reasons than everybody else. Don't forget, this is a business, let's be honest. I want you to take something away from the movie, and I don't want any pats on the back. It's not about me. I want you to see a young woman supporting her dad growing up. I want you to see my daughter not quitting. And I want you to see me then and now and understand that you can achieve the quality of life that you want if you work for it, and just be kind to yourself. That's it. So I'm just in the most grateful and humble guy right now. This is the greatest thing ever that somebody would do this for me. And I just hope that you appreciate the hard work that's gone into it.
Well, I want to thank Michael, Ian. I want to thank both of you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for this documentary. I look forward to seeing it. I will message Mitch and let him know what I thought about it. He could contact both of you. I appreciate that. We'll write a good story. We'll put the interview up and do everything like that. And thank you both for this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.